This is breaking news from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bill Ritter at Channel 7 Eyewitness News in the studio with some very sad news, and we're breaking into programming to tell you about it right away because we want us to be the ones to tell you. The great Alex Trebek, the host of Jeopardy for so many years, died this morning at his home in Los Angeles, surrounded by his friends, after a almost 2-year battle with pancreatic cancer. Stage 4 when he first announced it back in March of 2019. He was a member of this family for so many years, a member of your family who came into your home every night with the best game show that has ever been on television. And he was quite a mensch. What a guy, what a smart man, what a calm man, what a funny guy.
This is an ABC News special report.
Hello, I'm Dan Harris. We are coming on the air at this hour with some breaking news.
Remarkable life.
Here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
For more than 35 years, with style and a sense of humor, he was the man with all the answers.
A U-shaped fastener for your do, or a U-shaped curve in the road.
Who asked for questions.
What is a hairpin?
And earned a place in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most game show episodes hosted by the same person, earning a total of 30 Daytime Emmy nominations and winning TV's top honor half a dozen times.
As long as I can walk out and greet the audience and the contestants and run the game, I'm happy.
Alex Trebek's total was well past 8,000 episodes.
I'm like the Energizer Bunny. Bum, bum, bum.
Trebek's remark to me in 2014, typical of the man's spirit. And so was his reaction when all-time Jeopardy champ Ken Jennings finally got beat.
And I had a tear in my eye having to say goodbye to him.
Originally from Canada, Trebek was the son of a chef who became a U.S. citizen decades ago and became so much a part of our daily lives, his diagnosis upset millions of fans he graciously tried to reassure.
I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to keep working.
Chemotherapy for his pancreatic cancer looked promising, but a follow-up treatment caused him to lose 12 pounds in a single week. He was in pain and suffering from surges of sadness.
I talk to the audience sometimes, and I get teary-eyed for no reason whatsoever.
In the end, his courage in the face of his disease will be as much a part of his legacy as Alex Trebek's place in TV history.
I've had one hell of a good life, and I've enjoyed it. And the thought of passing on doesn't frighten me.
The thought of passing on does not frighten me. I've had one hell of a life. Sandy Kenyon joins us now. Sandy, he was a remarkable guy. He really was.
Bill, for those of us who cover entertainment, and I've been doing it a while, he's a through line throughout the entire career. I remember talking to him when he had the mustache, as you saw in the obit, and he was always so gracious and down to earth. A lot of people don't know this, but he loved do-it-yourself projects around the house. He loved a job where he had to work 3 months a year, you know. They did a lot of shows at once, so he had a lot of time for projects around the house. But the one phrase that comes to mind, the one word, is resiliency. You know, I had a conversation with Ken Jennings earlier this year, the all-time greatest Jeopardy champ, winningest game show contestant in American history, and he said, well, right after Alex Trebek was diagnosed, I expected to be saying goodbye to him for the last time, so he made a point of going and visiting. Man lived another year and a half, taped more Jeopardy shows. He wanted to get to 2 years, Bill. That's what he promised his doctor that he would try and do after the pancreatic cancer diagnosis. Just missed it by about 3 months.
Yeah, March of 2019.
More than 3 months. And one of the most touching moments was in that final interview that T.J. Holmes did for Good Morning America, where so much was made of the fact that Alex Trebek didn't want to be a burden to his beloved Jeannie, his wife. And that was what was keeping him up at nights. But again, it goes back to that remarkable resiliency. When that light went on, as sick as he was feeling, and there were sick moments these past 18 months, he answered the call and went in front of the audience up until almost his last stretch before his death. That's what I'll remember, that and how down to earth this man was.
Yeah.
And how much he related to each member of his audience. Son of a chef. And one of the greatest things was the last time I saw him, he was recalling growing up in hotel kitchens in Canada and how kind the people working in those kitchens had been to him as a boy.
I read somewhere, Sandy, in one of the briefing notes on him and his life and his biography, that he actually took a job in that hotel, and his father was a chef there, and he was like a busboy or something. He worked at the front desk, and so he was, you know, close to his family. He did seem always like a family guy. You know, when you said it was beautiful, he didn't want to be a burden on his family, and that's what he thought about when he got this diagnosis. Pancreatic cancer, of course, has a very, you know, while other cancers have been so survivable because there have been great advances in treatment and everything else, it is so difficult to diagnose pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed at stage 4 already because there's no signs really of it. You go in, you do something, and then they discover you have pancreatic cancer. It's not like you can go and have a mammogram. You can't have a lung x-ray. This doesn't work like that. It is hidden behind your other organs, and you can't see it. And so by the time it's diagnosed, it's oftentimes too late.
And Bill, could I just add one thing?
Of course.
The last interview I did with Alex Trebek was right before the diagnosis was announced. And since I'd known him for many, many years, he did seem a little subdued.
Yeah.
But once that camera went on, Freddie Mason, our cameraman, was there, and once that red light went on, he answered the call, and he was, like he said in the piece, the Energizer Bunny all over again. But it was one of those when about 6 weeks later the diagnosis was revealed. I thought, okay, that makes sense. And you know, I thought that was a wonderful moment of class, of working through. He wasn't going to announce his diagnosis until he was ready, Bill.
Yeah, and he didn't. And he was so brave. I want to play a clip, Sandy, of the latest Jeopardy that aired Thursday night right here on Channel 7. And it's a great moment. And Alex, you can see he was moved, but he kept that poker face a little bit. Take a look, and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Any family members back home cheering you on?
You know, here's a true story, man. I grew up, I learned English because of you. And so my grandfather, who raised me, I'm going to get tears right now. I used to sit on his lap and watch you every day. So this is a pretty special moment for me, man. Thank you very much.
Special moment indeed, Sandy, and he just took it in. It wasn't like he broke down. The guy telling the story broke down. It was emotional for him. He had this sort of steely interior that, you know, clearly he has a lot of feelings, but he really did, a consummate professional. He kept the game show host hat on almost at all times.
And to your point, Bill, people asked him, how do you keep on going? How do you keep taping these shows? And these shows were taped a few months before what we now know was the day he died. And he said, I'm good at faking it. He didn't say, oh, good for me, or oh, I just soldier through. He just said, I'm good at faking it, and I'm a professional, and I'm going to keep going until I can't any longer.
He knew it, Sandy. He knew this. I have a first cousin who's about 74 years old. She's had it for 14 years, a remarkable survival rate for this terrible and, you know, just horrible disease. And she's known from the beginning that it could be over quickly. He seemed to know that right away. When you first did your first story after it, and when it was announced in March of 2019, he seemed to know it. I'm going to fight, I'm going to try, but I know the odds are against me.
And Bill, at the end, we should say that he had told everyone, his doctors, his wife, his family, that no extraordinary measures are to be taken. So at the end, that was his thinking. His instructions were very clear in the last years of his life. No extraordinary measures to be taken to keep him alive.
Again, just if you're just joining us, the breaking news is that the great Alex Trebek, host of the most successful and best game show on television in history, Jeopardy, has died this morning in Los Angeles, surrounded by his family. He was 80 years old last July 22nd, and we were just reminiscing and Sandy giving a beautiful and touching tribute in his obituary. And Sandy, I thank you for joining us and coming in here this morning with this very sad news. But while it was expected, it is still extraordinarily sad. And we here at the WABC family and our ABC and Disney family give the best and condolences and much love to his family, who will miss him, but so will this country.